Apparently, you can ask ChatGPT how many people in the world can do a pull-up, and it'll tell you only about 5%. So let's have a real conversation about getting your pull-ups and the process and the path down which you'll probably go in order to acquire your pull-ups. So the first thing is this. I was working with somebody today on the ninja strength element of our training in Powerbatics, which involves pulling. And you've got to be able to do a pull-up just to even be able to play and start putting together those into katas, as we call them. And one key piece that I saw that was missing was the understanding of the core and its integration into the rest of the pulling muscles. When we go to a pull-up, we have to understand, and usually I see this, whenever people are struggling towards the end of a set, let's say that they're at 10, 11, 12, 13, and they start to burn out. I don't usually see people in a position like that where they're arched. Usually I see this at the end, and the knees are up, and maybe you're barely getting to the bar or getting your head a little bit over the bar. So let's talk about how the core is involved in that pulling strength. Now the core, it ties in all the way to the legs. And so whenever you see that kind of motion, like this here, the hip flexors are activating, and it's trying to recruit and engage to help bring the legs up into ascension as well. And like I said, normally you don't see people struggling at the bottom with their legs dangling like this. Usually, if they've got any level of strength, they're trying to use their legs to help them lift through that pull-up. Now here's the deal. On your pull-up, okay, the biceps are being used, the muscles of the upper arm definitely, the forearms, the grip, all of that. But also in the lats. As we get into the lats tie in right near the tricep, and it ties all the way down into your lower back, all the way through here. And then wrapping underneath your lat are your obliques, and that ties in your transverse abdominis, also wraps around to your spine. And so the whole trunk is involved in that pull-up motion. And when we're first starting out, we might be in a position like this, where we're just starting to do those scapular shrugs, where you're barely maybe getting the elbows to start moving. And then after a little while, it's gonna start going into half reps like that, okay? And then after more work, then you'll be up over the bar. Now I want you to see something. Are my feet in front or behind the bar? They are in front of the bar. And that shows you that we're dealing with the core. So I want you to make sure that you're understanding this whole concept of full body integrated strength. That's why we call it, we do body mastery. And that's why so many people around the world train with us, from doctors to pilots to surgeons, CEOs, all sorts of folks all over the place that are doing this training. And you're rebuilding your entire body. And it's not just these moves that have such a positive impact, but it's the rewiring through neuroplasticity of your brain and the rest of your body. So when we come over to the pull-up bar, if you see that kind of situation where the back is arched and the legs are dangling and you've got a huge curve in your lower back, then that shows that the core is not firing at all. And we need to correct that. So if you go from the side view here, and I do my pull-up, my legs are out in front of me, and I'm in a standard hold that we do. It's the first move in our warm-up, which is this. Our hollow hold. And right here, you can imagine holding onto the bar, and you're in that proper shape there. So a real discussion about some of the principles involved in developing the pull-up, which doesn't need to be precluded from 95% of the population, but that you can actually achieve if you train in such a way that integrates your entire body and you're working towards body mastery. If you want to train with us and you want help with your training to accelerate your progress, apply, see if you qualify. I'll see you in the next video and in training soon.